I want to talk about the sailing analogy we were discussing earlier. It just reminds me of how we can hang on in our life to patterns or ways of being that may not be serving us.
Right. So what I was saying, the analogy was how I just came off of a sailing trip of which I was on the ocean for 6 days, and I've been off the boat for 24 hours, and I still feel like the earth is doing this. Ooh, like I haven't caught up to the fact, like I'm just on stable ground here, and yet I'm still like bracing myself accordingly.
And you even purposely went into the garden,
Yeah.
right, to try and ground
to
yourself.
really earth.
I'm going to make a change here.
Yeah, totally.
And yet you still have the feeling.
Yeah, it's not gone. It's still here, very much here. And so then you were saying that isn't that like so many situations in our
Oh, yeah.
in our life, or when we get like thrown into or tossed into or moved into or changed into a situation that happens where we
Willingly or unwillingly.
yeah, where we like still function from the same pattern or expect ourselves to, or I don't know exactly.
Yeah, like actually I'm, witness even, I love the analogy of when we're in a pattern with people and we make a decision to step out of that pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So even just for ourselves. So I'm stepping out of that pattern, and what do the rest of the people do but fight to get me back in? Like, and that is crazy messy, because often what happens is, I've witnessed it myself, is like they can go for the jugular just to get us back into the pattern, right?
Right.
Like, you're making me uncomfortable because you're changing.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes, that happens.
It
for
pops,
sure.
like it pops up, and then it's like, what a mess. Like here, like there's so many different ways to approach this, but here in this analogy of I'm trying to make my changes in my life for the better, and sometimes the people who love me the most just want me to stay the same.
Right, for sure. For sure. Which is a challenging one. But even when it isn't other people that are trying to pull us back into something or whatever, like we function from that place. Like,
Oh yeah.
how long does it take us to try starting a new way and living a different way? Or,
Oh yeah.
you know, we even like ourselves and so many people we know, like we have some kind of insight, revelation to our existence, and yet we'll still pattern default to the thing that we've geared ourselves up for forever, or like childhood, protection mechanism that's been at play this whole time, even though the circumstances are not present.
Right. I mean, we've talked about this so many times, how we've had to rumble it out.
Yeah.
Like, why are you reacting this way to the situation and I react so different?
Yeah, totally.
And
why is your reaction making me react with my reaction?
yeah, right?
Vice versa. Anyway.
And even sometimes going back to a conversation that you've had with your grandfather, and it can be rooted in something so old, but you as a child wanting to have his approval.
Totally.
I'm
like
gonna,
how long did I, how what's the percentage of my life, something really crazy, some crazy percentage of my life so far that I've functioned in, like, working really hard because that's important and that's valuable because of something my grandpa said, or exemplified.
and like
as a youth.
Yeah, so like sailing.
Long after he told me that he had it wrong.
Oh, that's right too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And even though he told you it was wrong, it's so instilled.
It's
so
so
like the
ingrained.
equilibrium of the sailboat.
Yeah. Even though I know I'm very much in the dirt on land and there's no water happening and I don't move, I'm like,
Yeah, right. Even though Grandpa's told you,
Yeah.
it's okay, I was wrong. It's like, but if I'm not working hard,
right?
I'm a useless piece of whatever.
Yeah, waste of skin.
A waste of skin. Wow.
And right now I feel like I should be bracing myself on something in case we go, woo! Oh my goodness.
I mean, we laugh, but
Yeah.
it's really quite serious because these things are playing out in life all the time. I had a really great conversation this morning, and with a gentleman who wants to do a workshop with us, and we were talking about how these stories, these set in motion beliefs or ideas that we don't even know are functioning play out in our lives and can be disruptive and unproductive.
Yeah.
And we have no idea that it's happening. And then we go to make a decision. Okay, I see that. I'm going to change that. I'm going to do it differently. And yet, every
Yeah.
time we go to do it differently, it feels terrifying.
Totally. And we can kind of laugh about it, and yet at the same time, like, it's these patterns of being and these like solidified ways in which we actually get really stuck in life, right?
Yeah, totally stuck. Totally doing patterns over and over again. It's like being in a relationship that you know isn't working for you. You know is unhealthy for everybody involved. That there's no way forward. And yet how many years will people sit in that? Because the idea of breaking out of that is more terrifying than staying in something that's familiar.
Right. And then sometimes break out of it and find exactly the same thing again.
And just do it over again.
Yeah. Because it's like what we know.
Right? I had shared with me that conditioning of our childhood is so deep that we will attract situations that reaffirm that conditioning because it's so hardwired into, and I say hardwired, I need to say that loosely because I don't want to believe that we can't change from that hardwiring. But I really want to speak to the challenge, to the first bringing awareness to, oh my gosh, like your grandfather, you're a useless piece of skin. Okay, here it is, it's up again. And I can only imagine that when you're pushing up against that, so if you're having a day where you're doing nothing, like how does that feel?
Not great. Not great. It always brings up, there's always this, even though there's like been lots of breakthroughs in it, there's still this part of it that's like back in the voice in the back of my mind is like, yeah, but you could be doing something really productive with this day. Like you should probably be doing something more than nothing. Like, or you should do something more helpful or something more worthwhile or something that's on the list or, yada, yada, yada.
Which just takes me into our culture of productivity. I mean, it seems like off topic, and yet
It's not.
how many...
It's not, because we function from productivity as a default way of being.
Everywhere.
And even when we learn that there's a, more freeing or a different way of existence that seems and feels very appealing, we still function from productivity. Like,
I know. I know. I just read a lovely book, Arthur Truelove, and it was about these elders, and they were having that conversation. The woman was having the conversation with the man, and she was saying, like, what is my life worth anyway? What do? I don't do anything anymore. All I do is hang out on the porch in my rocking chair, like I might as well not be alive. And he had this lovely way. Oh gosh, it was so great. His approach to it was like, there are people producing, like creating things for the observer. But if we don't have an observer, then people who are creating things have no reason behind their creation. So you're sitting in your rocking chair reading a book, not producing anything, but the person who wrote the book needs the reader, or the book has no purpose.
right.
And so if we don't bring that similar balance into our life, and we're always in the production mode, we're missing the point of also being in the other side of it, which is in the observer mode or the receiver mode. And for whatever reason, our society has gotten way off kilter that way. That there seems to be an imbalance, even so much so that, it's easy to have a conversation about, wow, I have the TV on all day and all they sit and do is watch television, and like that's a dirty word. Like it's, wow, you're kidding. How many hours did you sit on the couch? Like, who does that? Like, and we have a poo-poo on that.
We do.
I do.
Yeah.
Man, I have a hard time not beating myself up for that.
Probably most of us do, really. Yeah.
And so here we are in the rocky shores, right? It's like, and then so when we break away from a pattern, I would, I was thinking about how society right now is like at slack tide. Like there's a lot of change happening, but there's kind of like this static also happening where feels like people are unwilling to go out and try the new thing or participate in something different, or it feels like that in my reality. And I love the analogy that you were sharing about what slack tide really is. I think of slack tide as nothing's happening.
Right. And yet it's not current pushing us one way strongly or another way strongly, but all the bumping and bubbling and smashing and mixing that happens at slack tide is quite messy, actually.
Right? And change has that messiness. You know, all the changes any change that we have creates disturbance. So while you were on the sailboat and you developed your equilibrium on the boat, you created a place of comfort. And then you get off the boat and you're in turbulence again because now you've got to
This isn't supposed to be happening right now in this situation. Like, got to recalibrate.
Right, so we can see it happen in the physical, and yet I feel like when it happens in the emotional, mental, there's a struggle that comes with that. It's almost like this shouldn't be this way. Like I should be able to move on. I should be able to handle. I should be able to let go. I should be able to. And we don't give ourselves enough grace. Like it doesn't serve us when we make a change not to then give ourselves some grace in that. And what I mean like is what's a better way to describe that? Some patience, some self-understanding, some self empathy, to know that like we're actually in the turbulence. Like one minute we could be bawling our eyes out, and another minute we could be laughing and spending money in stupid ways or making poor decisions. But it's all part of being messy before we find that next
Direction.
Yeah, right?
Pull. And it's not because nothing's happening. It's because really at any given moment everything's happening. Like we got, there's innumerous things to juggle and to contend with and to wrap our minds and our hearts and our feelings around every single day.
So what can we do? Like how can we, knowing this?
Yeah, and how does it serve us to not stay stuck?
Well, yeah, to stay doing what we've always been doing, and if we're discontent in that, then we're just going to continue on in discontent. So sometimes the discontent feels more comfortable than initiating a change. So if we bring awareness to the fact, okay, we've had this conversation about change has got this messiness. So if we know that, and we know we need to make a change, can we then like embrace that? Like give ourselves the time and the understanding and perhaps get a support network around us where like I'm making this change and I just need you to hold me in that while I am messy to remind me that I'm okay in this.
Right.
That I am heading in the right direction, but right now I can't even think straight because it's so different. Like I remember leaving a relationship and thinking back. I remember thinking back on it and driving like a couple weeks after I'd left and thinking, I shouldn't even be driving.
Right.
Like there was no way I could focus on the present moment because there was so much turmoil in the change that was happening within me. That to drive took too much activity in the present moment that I couldn't pull myself to do it.
Yeah. Too many things that focus wasn't really.
And I don't think we give ourselves we don't give ourselves enough
No, we
space
just power
for that.
through. We just power through because we got things to do.
Right? I mean, this same conversation I was having this morning in the workplace was like, well, don't we want to know that about our employee or even our boss? Like, don't we want to know if they're having a struggle at home,
Or our partner, or our friend, or our family member, or our neighbor, or
right?
a different country.
Right, yeah, right? That there might be some stress that's going on that needs to give them some support in that. And the support can look like, I got you. I understand. Like, maybe you need to have some time off, or maybe I'm just going to sit here and listen and let you know that you're okay.
Right.
Maybe we need more of that.
And what's the point of all that? What's the point of that? Like, there's going to be like a whole bunch of people that say, it sounds nice, but
Well, the point of all that
why
is,
would we even bother? We got our own shit to take care of.
why bother supporting somebody as they're
Why bother practicing ways of seeing change and witnessing what might be happening and being of support in that to ourselves or to others? Like, why? What's the point? All of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. We could say that, like, let's not bother. But if we just don't bother, then I think the nature of life is that we're always becoming. And if we don't bother, there's going to be a stress in that, that it sets off actually a depression. Because if we're not moving and expanding forward and outward and creating,
Right, we're shrinking,
then
and
we're
we're isolating, and we're
going the other way, and we're on our way out. And so really the way forward, the way to live, is to be creatively expressing, which means change all the time. Being in that unknown. And we're so uncomfortable with that, and yet really that is the point of creation. Oh my gosh, if I aren't answering my own dilemmas, right? Is that, I know, that place of discomfort, I'm trying to find a new way of doing my work, and I feel frustrated in that. But I have to remember this message for myself, like that discomfort is actually me moving forward and creating something new.
Actually, the current has stopped going in this direction of the
Right.
way I've done my work this whole time, and it hasn't yet turned and gone in this direction, so it's crashing around and
It's
bubbling
messy. It's
and
like,
looks like a big mix-up.
kind of like our political environment at times.
Kind of like all the
things.
situational things that can happen in anyone's life.
Right, and so I think that's the point.
Bump
It's
us
like,
off track.
if we can kind of zoom out and just say, this is what life does. And it's going to do it out there. It's going to do it in here. It's going to do it here. And
Embrace it.
and remind ourselves when we're in it. I mean, we do that all the time. We have that question of like, are we doing the right thing? And I think the very question in itself is, yeah, then we must be.
And in sailboat speak, you're in that, slack tide is the perfect opportunity to go through the rough places, to then pick where you're going, to like pick. It's the perfect time to pass through the toughest places.
Oh, I see.
And
Right.
your most important thing is,
Right.
where do I want to go?
Right. Wow.
Go that way.
And so you take the opportunity in that transition to go, oh, that way. Cool. So setting up a new path, totally.
Yeah.
I love it. High five. Onward.